am going to fail very publicly. I can't prevent the failing. It is actually a rite of passage. I have to flop. I have to flop, because if I don't flop and I don't allow myself to flop, I'm not going to commit to any of this. Hi friends, Micah here. It's currently 3:16 p.m. and welcome back to the vlog. I need to head to the library to print stuff. Then I think I'm gonna head to Starbucks, hang out there, and I'll see you when I get back. Hi friends, it is currently 10:28 p.m. Really happy to have printed. One is notes, one I accidentally printed, but I'm gonna use to just like tear through it. So many notes, so little time. Turns out I actually have the hardest time standing up. Walking is not the worst, but it's the standing and waiting for things to happen. In particular, like when I was waiting for the print, like at my library, the printing is a little kiosk where you have to stand. That was the hardest part for me physically. It's really interesting to be like, oh, that is where the struggle is for me. The struggle right now for me is writing. In my head, I'm like, it feels so easy to do. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. The thought of writing it is agonizing. I don't want to write, but the fear of God needs to sort of kick its way in. I have an application due tomorrow that at this point I'm like, do I even want to do it? I should, because even though I got all these notes from Cafe and it's not perfect, I do still think that the piece is good. It just needs some work, and it's gonna get better. Like objectively, after this rewrite, it's going to be better, and that's really exciting because now what's been so hard about Cafe is that like I've never had so much of it fleshed out. So what I'm gonna do today is revise scene 1 minimum, and if I can, 2 and 3, just because scene 1 not only needs revision, truly just needs to I need to go in there and listen to it. I recorded my lesson with John, as I mentioned earlier in the vlog, and I was listening to it today, taking notes. So I'm going to keep doing that, but I think I have enough in my head where I can start revising scene 1 and then keep going forward. It's nice knowing that I have some songs in here that I can do for act 2, but like this week I need to have a functional enough act 1 just so that it's done sort of vibes. Crazy. Let's get writing. Hi friends, it is currently 2:55 a.m. I have been working all day. I submitted an application to a thing, you saw it, and now I've been working on Cafe, scene 1 and scene 2. Those are done now. The foreshadowing is really strong in this. It's funny because if you've ever read Save the Cat, the one thing that always jumps to me in the first or in the second step is like one of the side characters, not one of the main characters, but a side character says the lesson that they need to learn at the very top of the act. And so for the first time in 3 years and some change, I actually have that line in there, and I have it in the right place and in the right page number. It's so funny how mathematically that works, especially if you're doing like a classic style like screenplay, play, musical. It's so funny how that's still true. Today has just been kind of like a rough day in terms of like, oh my god, what happened? That's weird. What is this? That has never happened before. My computer seems to be okay. That's weird. I think the internet, I don't know. All that to say, it's been sort of a rough day. Just like in terms of like sleep, I haven't been sleeping super well. I didn't sleep well again, but I'm feeling a lot better about these two scenes. And now I feel like the first three scenes are like, I genuinely feel like this first scene is like almost perfect, and the second scene is almost perfect. And I know when I go in and do this third scene, it's going to be almost perfect. And it really feels tight. There'll be enough space in here to do romance, which is so exciting. It's been so hard to write the romance, and now I really feel like it's within my grasp, and that I have, yeah, it's just a lot of Act 1 material that I have is going to be moving into Act 2. I'm so happy to have songs. Hi friends, it is currently 7:05 in the morning. I have been trying to sleep for 4.5 hours, and I haven't been able to sleep. I have a meeting with John in 5 hours, and I'm nowhere near done with the act. I'm really frustrated. I'm upset. Yesterday I wrote a little bit of scene 3, and I went out with some friends from grad school that I haven't seen, since the accident 3 months ago. So I needed to do this for me. But I think what's really stressing me out right now is that I can't figure out the romance between them because I don't know what Megan wants. I do think it's art in some way, and I think what I'm struggling with right now is leaning into the instinct of like, why? Why give up a corporate job? Even though it's something I'm literally doing right now, I know what it's like to leave your corporate job. I had support when I made that transition, so I wasn't making it. And maybe that's what I need to write about. I would pay off my loans. I'd work for 6 months. I'd create, you know what? This is probably like a fuck up fund. And then like give myself time to make art. I think the issue that I have with art as a profession, and if you're an artist, please help. How do you determine success as an artist? Like when you're a musical theater writer, getting a production. When you're a writer, selling a novel. Is it opening your own shop? Selling stickers? I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research into that, but actually having this conversation with you has been really helpful. I'm gonna go get some water. I really want a Coke with ice and a little bit of vanilla creamer. I've been influenced, and I think right now what I'm going to do is move scenes into the right order that I think they need to be in, and just ignore the lyric work that I have to do and just focus on the book work so that I can start writing Act 2. I mean, like, it's Tuesday right now, and not to be a huge fucking bummer, but I have a reading of this show. It's closed, but in front of my producers next Friday. And obviously it's gonna be rough. And obviously after that I still have a month to change things, but I can't change so much. I still have to compose, still have to write the score of this thing. This is why it's so much easier to write a musical with several people, just because writing a musical by yourself takes a long time. I got my writing uniform back on. Yesterday was fun. It's time to lock in because I can't sleep. Depending on how much I can get done in the next 4.5 hours, then I can go to bed. I'll check in with you when I check in with you. Hi friends. It is currently 1:08 p.m. Just got off my lesson with John. Act 1, Scene 1 and Scene 2, great. Act 1, Scene 3, pretty good. I have the final list of songs here, but we have 12 songs in that first act, baby. That is the magic number for a classic first act. And I mean, we have some reprises here and there, but it's really the 12 songs. And now I have Megan's My Time of Day. Now I just need to write this. We're in good shape though. With the way the show is right now, like the first 3 scenes, even if I don't take everything that John says, just because sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, I'm just gonna listen to the notes. I still need to like learn to shut up when people are giving me notes. It's not a good skill. I haven't developed it yet. I'm just sleepy and hungry, so that's why I'm all messed up in the head. But it's just
been a nightmare. And I don't even know where we are in terms of the vlog. That's future me's problem. But right now I'm feeling like this is doable. At the end of the day, the reading in 2 weeks is about hearing it out loud and hearing the characters and the approach and seeing if I've done enough. Part of me, I think, longs to write for TV because I love being able to sit with characters and develop them for a while. I do wonder if that's where my instinct to really like flesh out these characters in less quote unquote obvious ways comes from. Also, I think it's like the limit of the form too. Like it's the limit of musical theater. So with that said, I'll check in with you later.
Hi friends, it is currently 1:21 a.m. I got back from a French show. It was fun to go outside, see people that I haven't seen in like 3 months. It seems like everyone around me is getting injured. Like one of my friends who I saw today is getting injured. Another one of my friends, Nat, if you're watching this, hi. But anyway, on my way to this theater, I started writing scene 4 and let me flip you around. My act 1 song list. I now have 12 songs. I talked about it the other day. I think I finally have the name for Rosa's song. I think it's going to be something here. It might be all of these. But this is my schedule right now. This is where I think they're going to take place. And then my schedule. So for today, to be on schedule, I got to finish scene 4. I gave myself 2 extra days just in case I didn't finish. But I know that I can finish scene 4 today because scene 4 is already mostly written and I just need to change the given circumstances here. So I have a meeting tomorrow with Josefina for Hear Us, which is really exciting. We haven't been able to talk because we've both been really busy. So I'm going to get some feedback on that. Also, don't know if I will include this here, but there's a chance that my song Alejandra is going to have its West Coast premiere at a theater that I know and love, which is Theater West, my home essentially out in the West Coast. So I'm very excited about that. Might be like one of the few original numbers for the musical theater thing, because I usually do like a musical theater review, but it's usually using songs like by Cole Porter or like other classic songs. So it'd be cool to inaugurate that as a composer, because I was in that show of Westfest like over a decade ago now, maybe literally a decade ago. Oh, that's so gross. I think I was in Westfest a decade ago. Where has time gone? Jesus. If it does work through, by the time this vlog goes out, I'll know. So I'll include it. So if you're out on the West Coast in LA and you want to hear my music, you can indeed go do that now. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy how small the world is. But for any of that to happen, I need to write. I am tired. I need to stop fucking talking. This vlog clip is so long. I can't believe I was about to do that. All right, ciao, ciao, ciao. Currently 3:57 a.m. I did in fact, let me actually flip you over. I did in fact have my meeting with Josefina, which you saw earlier, and finished scene 4, which means the day is finally done. It was so intense that like I woke up, I wrote some of it, laid back down in distress. You know, met with Josefina and got like the feedback that I haven't received yet, which is like why it's so important to work with not just one mentor, but several. Oh my God, the camera. And Josefina's great point this morning, and by morning I do mean like 4 p.m., was I didn't know what kind of Latinos your parents were and how that mattered in the story. And like I know that musically later in the show I'm using like Chilean folk music and I'm using like a very specific form of dance and culture to confirm that, but I gotta weave that through the story now. You know, that's a note I hadn't received from John. It's a note I hadn't received from any of my friends, especially because like I had a Chilean cast and I had, you know, Chilean team, and so like it always felt super Chilean from that perspective. But now I'm also weaving it into the text, so it's not something that is, you know, she was like, it was kind of like generic Latino, and I was like, Ugh, what a comment. But true. It made me like keep an eye out for that. Scene 4 is done, but now it's like really done. Scene 5 tomorrow, which is the parent scene, which I'm writing from scratch because the guy I'm using in the second act. I think it's just getting to me, and like my feeling of like both perfectionism and imposter syndrome are just eating at me. And Felipe told me, it's like, you need to eventually freeze the show. It's 4 a.m. I'm exhausted, but I also know that I'm not ready for bed. So I think I'm gonna watch some of My Hero Academia. I will check in with you guys later. Tomorrow I have to finish scene 5. I have to write a whole new song for that, and a whole different beat there, and now I'm changing it for the better. But it's like a hard rewrite, and I think that that's the thing about rewrites like this. The thought that people could come see this, even just my friends, is like too much. And so I know I'm pushing myself too far. This is why I was crying in the fucking shower. See you tomorrow. Hi gang. It is currently 5:48 a.m. I went to bed at like 3:40, and by that I mean I laid down and suffered in agony. I've been working on Rosa's beat for scene 5, and I think I hit something really emotionally strong, but I think it's too early in the show. This is Act 2 Scene 2 material, or rather Act 2 Scene 5, right? I have to learn to embrace that this is a workshop, and I think that's putting a lot of pressure on me. I need to accept the fact that I'm not going to get it right this time, and that I have to workshop, and that bringing in actors who are going to learn the music, who are going to read the script, who I'm going to be with is going to teach me a lot, and that I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail very publicly. I can't prevent the failing. It is actually a rite of passage. I have to flop. Because if I don't flop, and I don't allow myself to flop, I'm not going to commit to any of this. I have to believe that this won't be the end of the show. I have to believe that if this workshop doesn't go perfectly, I'll still have another chance, and I have to let it go. And I need to have grace with myself. I was reading the In the Heights development process, because even now, after 16 years, it's still the only show of its kind to have made it to Broadway, and I want to be the next one. There should be way more by now. You know, Lin-Manuel Miranda started writing it in 1999, but the development of it started in like 2002, right? When they started bringing other people in, and they started doing workshops, and they got rid of characters, and they slimmed down plot lines, and blah, 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 blah. I need to embrace development hell. I've only been in development hell for 1 year, and I've been very lucky to have had the many opportunities that I've had with Café con Leche. But I need to embrace that there are going to be versions of the show that are going to suck, and that I just need to push through and find the true version of this show. And I will. It's within my skill to do so. It's just going to take a long time. And I can't get everything done in one summer. I can't. I physically can't. I mentally can't. And that is okay. It's okay. It is now 7:24. I'm going to go to bed. And you know what I did today that really helped? The thing that's been in the back of my mind is that Café needs to be done to a certain level so I can apply to the grants and the stuff. And these deadlines for these grants and these possibilities are what have been haunting me more so than this reading in October. This reading in October is my reason to finish the show, but these applications are why I'm so desperate to get them done, because I need, keeping the forward momentum. And you know what? I went in and I looked at every single application, and then I went to someone who I really admire their progress, and we're not similar, but they're a little bit ahead of me, and so I looked at everything that they won. Or not everything they applied, I don't know, but everything that they've won or been a semi-finalist or a finalist at, and I looked at all of those too. I made a list in my calendar, and I checked. I'm not ready for some of these. I thought I was ready, but I'm not. In terms of like just work, the amount of work I'm doing. For some of them, I will be ready to apply with this draft that I'm doing now, because I know that the first 45, 60 pages of this draft are going to be incredible. And you know what? That made me feel incredible. And with that, I'm going the fuck to bed, because not only did I fix my scene 5 problem, I know like what I want the scene to be. Now I need to figure out the song lyric exactly, but I figured it out. I worked through what was in my head, because I can't feel the way that I felt when I had the fall, because I fell because I was feeling like this, and I can't let myself feel like that anymore. So I did something that made me feel better, and now I'm going the fuck to bed. That's what happens when you sleep in the middle of the day. You take a 4 to 5 hour nap. Physical therapy is fucking up my body in a good way,